In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use iMovie, start a new project, get some pictures in there, do some editing, and do voiceover. So let's get started. First, you want to go up to File, New Movie, and I will be using version 10.0.5, but everything is very similar. So click on File, New Movie, and you can click No Theme. Click on Create. Okay, the themes just add specific transitions if you wanted to do a theme. So then you have your movie up here. You have your import media, so this is all of your pictures and songs and actual video footage that would be located right here. And then down at the bottom here, you have all of your your edited timeline. Down in the lower left, your transitions, titles, maps, sound effects, and other stuff. And then I'm going to start out very simply. I got two pictures. I put them on the desktop. So you can either drag them into media and then select them from here and click on this little plus. So that will bring this picture down into the timeline. It's set at 4 seconds. If you wanted this one, you can also just drag it down to wherever you want it. So I'll drag that down. So if you wanted it to go snowflake, snowman, snowflake, snowman, then you could actually drag this down and put it in front. Notice that it can go over top. You don't want it over top. You just want it out in front. All right, so right now we have the first picture. You can see right here that it's 4 seconds long. So that one's 4 seconds and that one's 4 seconds. If you wanted to change the duration of the actual image, you just drag the edge of it, and that takes out half a second. So now this is 3.4 something seconds. And then you can do this, make that a little shorter, and you can drag it from the other side too, make that a little shorter. So something that most people don't know is this timeline can get very long if you have a long clip here. So over here, this actually, in a sense, zooms in and zooms out on your clips, so you can condense them and figure out where in the timeline you want to be working with. So if you want to do fine editing, then you want it really zoomed in. If you want to see the overall picture, then you zoom out. So from here, I'm going to click on one of the images. I'm going to click on Adjust, and then there's a couple different options that come up. So what I'm going to do is the crop picture, or the crop effect, and by default every picture goes to Ken Burns. Sometimes you might not want it as Ken Burns, so I'm going to click on Fit because I don't want it to do Ken Burns. And maybe this one I'll click on Fit, and that one I'll click on Fit. That way they're not moving. Sometimes it's nice to move, sometimes it isn't. If you need to rotate for whatever reason, here's the rotate option. And then there's some other stuff here as well, but I will skip that for now. Alright, so then we just go, and right now I just clicked on the spacebar, so spacebar starts, spacebar stops, and you can actually drag this around too with the cursor. So I start here, click spacebar, and stop. After you get your pictures in there, then you can do voiceover, and to bring up the voiceover option in iMovie, you want to click on the V on your keyboard. So I'm going to click on V, and then this little option appears right below this little picture preview thing over here. So right here, this is your input source. So if you have a USB mic, you can put that right in here. You can adjust the volume, mute the project, and so on. So wherever this vertical bar is, we'll say right there, that's where it's going to start recording. So I'm going to click on this little microphone. It'll say 3, 2, 1, and then it'll start recording my voice, and it'll just keep going until I click the space bar. Something nice that this does is it goes beyond the last picture. So I'm going to click spacebar, and if you want it to, you can actually expand this out so that it covers the whole entire voice. If you want it to raise or lower the volume of your voice from here, you can drag it up or do it down. It goes up to 400% and down to 0. So sometimes you might want to bring it up just a little bit or bring it down a little bit. You'll notice that there's two little circles on either end of this audio recording, and those are for fade in and fade out. So if I click on, let's see if I can get it. Click off there. Okay, so you see how it's those two little arrows, and I drag that in. So notice this black line curves the volume out, and that black line will slowly bring the volume up. So those are for fade in and fade out if you wanted to do that. So other than that, once you're done with your project, you're going to go up to share. But before we do that, I'm going to show you how to get video in there. So if you click on video, this is where you can select your FaceTime camera. This is where you can select your cameras that you connect, and then you would just click imports. So I'm going to share this. So we'll do file, share, and then we'll go down to file. So I'm going to share it as a file, so this whole entire project would be exported. So I can change it here, standard definition. 720 is usually fine. If I wanted to add it to the theater, I can. That's just for viewing purposes. And then we'll put it on my desktop and we'll call it a day. So save, and now it is exporting. And this is your progress in terms of the export. It's right up here, and this one's only 17 seconds, so it doesn't take long. And that's done. It says successful. And now that should be on the desktop, and there it is. I just realized that I forgot to show you how to do titles and transitions, so I'm going to quick do that at the end of the video. So first you click on titles, and if you scroll around, you can see all of the different options for titles. So I'm just going to do, maybe this expands right here. So I click the expand, just like a picture, you would drag it down in front, and you can do my movie. Another option for titles is to drag it over an actual image. So if I drag it down, I'm going to put it over the entire image, and then same thing, my snowman, which is hard to see. Actually, we'll do that. My snowman. So I'm going to highlight that, and here I can actually change the color of it. We'll do that. You can center it, you can move it around, you can change the font, and then click check. Up top it's 4 seconds. If you wanted it to last the whole entire thing, you would drag that out. And now if I go to play it, now my snowman appears, and then it'll start to expand out very slowly, little by little, and fade out. And then my movie, this is just black in front. So it depends on how you bring the titles down, whether you want it over a picture or in front of a picture or in between pictures to break things up. And then transitions works very similar to titles. You just click on transitions, and here are all of your different transition options. So puzzle left, you would just drag these in between pictures or in between like a font picture and a regular picture. Maybe cross zoom, and now you would get a cross zoom and you go in between two things. So it just gives a nicer look. If you want it to, I'm going to double click that, and you can change the duration. So maybe 2 seconds, I can click apply. This is still at 1 second, that's at 2 seconds. If I wanted them all at, let's say, 3 seconds, I would apply to all. So then you have 3 seconds for every transition, which just makes the transition a little bit too slow. I found that 1 to 1.5 seconds is fine. So that covers titles and transitions, and then you can go and do your export.